There was just a Gallup poll out today that shows that the trust in media, newspapers and television is, hitting an all-time low. People don't trust us, they don't believe us, and it makes me wonder if this job, as I'm currently doing it, is effective, but if it's doing more harm than good. I don't have a good answer for that.
That's an MSNBC host, if you can believe it, admitting that trust in the legacy media is an absolute tatters. We're going to take a look at that Gallup poll. We're going to see how the erosion of trust is destroying the media's ability to influence our politics. And make sure to stick with me at the very end of this video, and I'll reveal why we can be absolutely sure that the days of the mainstream media have truly and finally come to an end. You're not gonna want to miss this. Greetings, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You know what I also want you to smack? I want you to smack cancel culture. That's what I want you to do. And you can do that by clicking on the link below and supporting our dear friend Mike Lindell and My Pillow. As you know, Walmart stores have canceled Mike's products from their shelves. And so our support for this amazing patriot is now more important than ever. And Mike, as always, is showing the love back with his lowest prices ever. If you use my code Turley, you can now get the classic My Pillow, which is normally $69.98, for only $19.98 with my code Turley. That applies to over 200 products in their catalog, sheets, slippers, you name it. So don't wait. Click on that link below. Get one for yourself. Get another for the patriots in your life. Let's support our fellow patriot, Mike Lindell, and let's get the best sleep of our lives in the process. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. An absolutely brutal poll came out from Gallup that shows trust in the so-called mainstream media has fallen to its lowest level ever. According to Gallup, just 16% of respondents had a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in newspapers, the first time on record that such confidence has fallen under 20% for newspapers, and only 11%, yes, you heard that right, 11% had the same confidence in the trustworthiness of television news. Gallup has been tracking trust in the newspaper media since 1973 and in televised news media since 1993. And in all those intervening years, never, according to Gallup, never have they seen polling this low in terms of media trust. And the devastating level of distrust in the news media is causing even pundits over at the ultra-leftist MSNBC to begin to admit that no one is listening to them anymore. You heard earlier Katie Tur lament that such distrust may in fact mean that being a journalist today is doing more harm than good, which is an astonishing admission because left-wing activists like Tur get into journalism precisely to set the agenda for the nation. It's what's known as agenda setting theory. It's actually a real field of study in the academy. Agenda setting theory is the technical term for how the media actually sets the political agenda. It's not politicians or lobbyists. It's the media that frames the issues of the day with a narrative that used to have profound influence on how mass populations viewed the world. And so what we're seeing with this admission by Tur and others is that the total breakdown in trust, again, we're talking 9 out of 10 people no longer trusting the media, according to Gallup. This total breakdown in trust is destroying their capacity to set the political agenda for the nation, which, of course, always skews left. I mean, look, I saw this erosion of trust and influence when they were trying to cancel our movie premiere. The leftist activists disguised as journalists pumped out article after article after article, in effect threatening the church for hosting events like our movie premiere, as well as celebrating the 2 cowardly businesses that caved to the woke cry bullies who were themselves amplified by the lamestream media in Pennsylvania. There was all of this media coverage, all of the social media coverage, and then when it all came time to premiere the film, barely 6 protesters showed up. 1,200 patriots and 6 sad, pathetic, lonely leftist protesters. I mean, it's all the activist media could generate. And why? Well, according to Gallup, because no one's listening to them anymore. And note, This Gallup poll comes on the heels of a number of other studies that show that trust in the mainstream media has been imploding quite literally every year for the last 20 years. Every major study over the last 2 decades shows that the trustworthiness of the legacy media has collapsed to an all-time low. And again, this is particularly the case for the American legacy media. A recent report from the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism at Oxford found that the U.S. media is, in point of fact, the single least trusted media in the world. Out of 46 countries surveyed, the U.S. media came in dead last. I mean, it was a very impressive study. It was conducted over a 2-month period, involved nearly 100,000 respondents to measure their level of trust in their respective news media. Interestingly, Finland topped the list with a trust level of 65%. In fact, the trust level for the international media has actually been improving in virtually all the nations surveyed over the years. So on the international scene, trust in media is actually going up. Unfortunately for the leftist activists disguised as journalists here in the United States, public opinion is going, obviously, the opposite direction. In this study in particular, this Oxford study, they found that only 29% of respondents said that they believe they could trust most U.S. news most of the time. Now, this study was some months back. Now, with this Gallup poll just released, if MSNBC didn't think things could get worse, they were sorely mistaken. And this total lack of trust explains precisely why the ratings for the mainstream media across the board are utterly collapsing. I just did a video a few days back on Don Lemon melting down over CNN's ratings implosion. Today, as we speak, according to the New York Post, CNN's ratings have fallen to the equivalent of what local news normally gets. When it comes to the coveted 25 to 54-year-old demographic, CNN is averaging, I kid you not, CNN is averaging 57,000 viewers a day. I mean, gang, it doesn't get much lower than that. So the legacy media really is imploding as we speak. The question, of course, is why? Why are people increasingly souring on the media's trustworthiness? We're going to answer that question, but first, you got to get yourself one of these shirts. Don't you think Pravda t-shirts is better than CNN? And you can do that by clicking on the link below and enjoying our Christmas in July sale at our Turley Talks merch store. We've been winning just so much of late that we wanted to celebrate those wins with a special 4th of July sale all throughout the month of July. So make sure to click on that link below. And for a limited time, if you buy 2 t-shirts, you're going to get one absolutely free. That's right. You get 2 t-shirts for yourself, right? And then you get one for the patron in your life, and you don't tell them it's free. They'll love you for it either way. Click on that link below or go to store.turleytalks.com. All right, so what's happening here? Why are so many wising up, as it were, to the leftist propaganda that is the mainstream media? Well, we talk about this often on this channel, but it goes then without saying. It's because the legacy media can no longer compete with the rise of something called, you know it, the network society. Scholars have observed that we're in the midst of nothing less than a massive media revolution. For example, you'll notice that virtually 100% of the initial video documentation of any significant event of late, it's not coming from news cameras or from satellite trucks. The on-the-ground, in real-life video capturing any significant event comes from eyewitnesses who were present at that event recording it on their smartphones, right? Welcome to the network society. It's a new social order that's decentralizing and disestablishing news information via digital networks like the internet. And it's one that the legacy media simply cannot compete with anymore. They pretend like they still have a monopoly over information dissemination dispersal, only to find out that the events that they're reporting on have already gone viral on social media, totally irrespective of anything cable news or whatever had to say about it. And when they do finally get around to saying something about it, the vast majority of people don't agree with their assessment. They've already made up their own minds. So this is why we're no longer dependent on, 3 centralized news networks or our local papers or even our cable outlets like CNN or MSNBC anymore for information. We can consume information conceivably in infinite amount of ways, which in turn is challenging the big media monopoly of control over the acquisition and distribution of information that for years went unchallenged. And so the rise of the network society is guaranteeing that the age of big media is over. The mainstream media really is dead. And their left-wing agenda setting, influencing our politics, is indeed coming to a decisive end. Now, before you go, you'll definitely want to check out that video on Don Lemon melting down as CNN's ratings implode. You're absolutely love it. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.